All right, we are live. Welcome, you guys. Happy Saturday. My name is Donovan Saadiq. As you guys know, I'm the recovering Democrat. I am back on the job. Political season is here. That is what I live for, the political season. Demetra K she should be back on her way back from her vacation with her family. So hopefully we will be on the air tomorrow at our usual time, which is 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I'm very sure with what has been happening in Demetra's absence, she has a lot of ideas and programs and things that she would probably want to talk about. It's heating up, you guys. It's heating up. It's amazing the amount of messaging I have been getting, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But I want to talk about the wildfire update. Lake Elsinore, which is only about 20 miles from my house, a big fire broke out there, and they said it was set intentionally and all kinds of stuff. So it's about 20 miles away, and it's supposed to be really bad. And but where I live, fire season is something that always happens toward the end of summer. So we're kind of prepared for it. We're kind of used to it. And $700,000, $800,000 homes, which is the median cost of a home in California is about $800,000. Those going up in flames is nothing unusual. Hopefully people have insurance like they're supposed to, and it'll be what it is, But they say the fire has doubled overnight. So we'll see how that goes. It's just one of those things that you got to deal with in this world. So anyway, a lot of people, it is just amazing to me. People get really, really heated when it's talking about religion and politics. And it's very unfortunate that people can't do an argument. Or even if you don't agree, you don't agree. Now, I've been getting a lot of messages in my messengers and stuff like that, cursing me out, telling me how misogynistic I am. I should support a woman. I should vote because, she's a Black woman and all this other stuff. The funny thing about it is I don't really give a damn. I don't really give a damn because I know what's going on. Okay. And when you're a person like myself that knows what's going on, you don't worry about anything. There's nothing to worry about. I can respect everybody's vote. I could care less how you vote because it's your right to vote the way you want to vote. I mean, I put my life on the line so that you have the right to vote any way you want to vote. However, don't get mad because a person doesn't follow your way of doing things or the way you would vote. Everybody's different, in the world and stuff like that. And, a lot of us, we understand that as military people and military kids or whatever the deal is, we understand, people are going to be, totally how they're going to be. I'm very unapologetic in my political stance because really, as you guys know, I'm known as the recovering Democrat. So what does that mean when you're in recovery? That means I want to be a Democrat. I was born to be a Democrat. However, it's not good for me. It's not good for my people, in my opinion. It's just not good. So I'm going to continue to put out information out there that people might not know because unfortunately people are sheeple, and Black people especially. The Democratic Party, which was started as an anti-Black party and still is, has mastered the art of Stockholm Syndrome. What do I mean by that? Stockholm Syndrome is where the captive falls in love with the captor. No matter what the captor is doing to that person, they love them. They don't want to leave them. Black people for over 80 years, since the FDR New Deal, that is when most Black people converted to being Democrats because we were Republicans up until then. I'm not even a Republican. I'm a recovering Democrat. which means I pull and I hope the Democrats can change what they're doing, especially when it comes to people that look like me. Now, again, some people just don't care. They don't have the information, and that's great. They're living their lives. And like I tell you guys, God bless you. You're living your lives. You are too distracted to really understand what's going on. No problem. I can deal with it. But then you've got people like myself who are political junkies, and we're in the know. We're in the know. I've got family members. When I talk about my family members, my mom, my brother, cousins, and uncles and stuff like that, they're not politically deep like I am. And that's okay. And that's okay. Sometimes they ask me questions and they say, what's this? What's this? And I'll tell them, hey, go check this out, or look at this, or did you ever think about that? But I would say the majority of the messages that I've been getting, besides cursing me out, I don't know what it is with the feminist women out there. But again, her body, her choice. I had a feminist friend of mine tell me that women birth men. Yeah. Where's the disagreement? There's no disagreement there. However, if you're biblical and if you're religious, a woman came from the rib of Adam. And let's just throw that out of there. Like I said, I could go with you guys all day, back and forth, in a debate or whatever. So technically, women came from men if you're a religious person. However, a woman's body, her choice. I agree with that. But that child is half of that man. He should have a say. Most of us that are walking on this earth have fathers, be it they're in our lives or not in our lives. Without a father, we would not be. So when a woman comes to me with that stupid vernacular of, a woman's this, a woman's right. Hey, you're absolutely right. You can do what you want with your body. But that man should also have a say in his child. You need a man to make a child. That's just the bottom line. It's 50-50 down the line. So you can do what you want with your body, but he should have a say, in my opinion, with what goes on with that child inside your body. Now, another reason why I'm against the Democratic Party, because again, I am a religious person. I'm a Christian person. I don't believe in killing innocent babies. The Democratic Party seems to push that issue. A woman's right. A woman's right is not just about deleting. It's not just about deleting, but for some reason in our community, they think that's what the whole issue's about. Her right to get rid of her children. That is not what it's about. If a woman wants to get a BBL, that's on her. If a woman wants to get a boob job, that's on her. If a woman wants to get any kind of cosmetic surgery, that's on her. We're talking about a human life that another person helped that woman create. That person should have some say-so. But in this society, that isn't the case. And in the Black society, we need to make more babies responsibly, in my opinion, because according to the census from the 1960s, our population has not moved. We have been sitting at 13 and 14% over 50 years. And I'm just going by the numbers. I know that's not true, but I'm going by the numbers. And then if you take in the fundamental, foundational Blacks that are descendant of slaves, we're even lesser than that number. So that tells me one of two things. The United States government is engaged in a genocide against Black people in this country. No, you can't be in a country for 60 years and your numbers are stagnant. It just doesn't happen. In the 1970s, the Asian population in the United States was about 3%. It's now 8, if not 9. You guys, these are the numbers. I'm going by the numbers. Not going by what I think the world should look like, what the world is. I'm unplugged from the matrix. You need to unplug too and look at the world for the way it is. Now, a lot of people, and some people have been nice to me. And like I said, you guys can say whatever you want to say about me. Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, Cornel West, ain't no man gonna solve these problems. Okay? It ain't gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. These are all distractions. But see, they know Black people are very emotional people, so they appeal to my emotions. So what did I say over 4 months ago? What the Democratic Party was going to do. They were going to focus on Black people because they cannot win an election without the Black vote. If Black people, if the Democratic Party loses over 20% of the Black vote, they can't win. Now, I know a lot of you guys' memory is very short. The last election wasn't a blowout. It wasn't. There were some swing states that Joe Biden won by, 10,000 votes, 100,000 votes. It wasn't a blowout type thing. I believe Joe Biden, don't quote me, I believe Joe Biden won by 305 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 260. And the popular vote was pretty close as well. So that was a very close election, and that was with overwhelmingly Black votes. They said, I believe, and don't quote me, the Black vote was like 96% of the election, 96%. And they barely won. And you're talking about some Black people who voted different or didn't vote at all. Now, in this election, you think Kamala Harris is going to win election? And the Democratic Party's policy has been adversarial to Black people and Black communities by bringing illegal immigrants into the country and putting them into Black neighborhoods. And you actually think Kamala Harris is going to win this election? I don't think so. Predictably, right now, over 25% of the Black vote has said either they are going to sit out or they are going to vote Trump or a third party. That is where we're at right there. So just using those numbers, that's not going to happen. Now let's use our memory. Kamala Harris, when she ran for president in her own right, who, by the way, basically called Joe Biden a racist, she polled less than 1% of the Black vote just before the California primary. Thus, she ended up dropping out. This woman is a very unpopular figure in California politics. Instead of telling people just vote identity politics, we got to stop that as Black people. That is the stupidest thing to do. You vote policy, vote your bank account, vote your household. What is best for your household? For what's best for me is not what's best for you. Now let's stay on the Kamala train, because people think, oh, you just hate her because she's a woman. Totally not true. Totally not true. You don't know what you're talking about. You have no clue what you're talking about. Kamala Harris, if you guys have followed my page, I've put up nothing but facts against Kamala Harris here in California. I live in California, so I know Kamala Harris's real record. She would not get my vote, no matter what. And if you guys have been following, you can see why she won't get my vote. She's very corrupt. She's a very corrupt politician. Anybody who would let a man sit on death row and fabricate or hide evidence that would have exonerated him doesn't deserve to be president of the United States, much less a senator, much less in government. What if that was your son? What if that was your son? And by the way, That gentleman that was incarcerated under that, there was a bunch of cases, by the way. There was a bunch of cases. But if you saw my page, I put the one up where the taxpayer had to pay 13 point something million to compensate this man for 5 years plus of incarceration. And you guys are telling me, oh, you should vote for Kamala. Okay, that's fine. Don't just, okay, look, I'm going to tell you guys that are Kamala supporters where you're going wrong. Again, I'm a political junkie because I could care less. I can care less. Where you're going wrong is don't just tell people vote Kamala because she's a black female, because she's not black. She is not black, okay? She is not black. She's only black when she wants to be black, okay? She's not black. When you tell people they should vote for Kamala, tell them why they should vote for Kamala. Just because she's a female, that's not good enough. If I had to vote for somebody just because they're female that I think is qualified, I would have voted for Hillary Clinton. That's who I would have voted for. But she's a corrupted individual. Couldn't vote for her. Calling us super predators and all that other stuff. Couldn't vote for her. So stop telling people to DEI vote for people because their genitalia is a certain genitalia, or their sexual preference is a sexual preference, or they have a certain color. Vote policy. So when you tell somebody, because Kamala is going to need the votes, you know, she is not going to win this election. The Democrats have put up the worst candidate to run because they know they can't beat Donald Trump because all of their lawfare attempts failed. The lawfare that they attempted against Donald Trump failed. I know a lot of people say, oh, but he's a felon and he's this, that. I agree. He's a felon. But there is no law that stops a felon from running for president. This is how they rig the laws to keep the powerful powerful. But you and I can't get a job at the city government picking up trash because we have a felony on our record. Whose fault is that? It's amazing how people who are basically in the dirt will fight tooth and nail to defend the ultra wealthy and the ultra privileged. It's amazing to me how that happens. How that happens. Yes, Donald Trump is a felon many times over. Many times over. He was convicted, blah, blah, blah. He's on appeal, whatever. There is no law that stops him from being an elected president. In my own city, we had a former bank robber, felon, on the run for 9 years. Didn't tell anybody. Won a seat to city council. By the time we found out, it was too late. There was nothing we could do. There was nothing legally we can do because there's nothing that said she could not run and be on city council. So you guys might want to check your city council statutes and see what the rules are. Because at this point, I agree with you guys. If Donald Trump can be a felon and be president of the United States, then they need to take that question off of all applications for work. It shouldn't matter at this point. So I agree with you with that. But use your basic logic. Use your basic logic. If you are not from California and you do not know Kamala Harris's record, I strongly recommend you to go look it up. I put it up on my page. People are talking about it. She never refutes it. She never refutes it. And if you're okay with a woman who will hold people in jail past their sentencing, where the Supreme Court had to step in and a judge had to step in to make her release these prisoners, then you go right on ahead and vote. And I don't want to hear when your nephew or your brother or your father, whoever gets locked up in your state because of this woman's policies and how she thinks about the law. Somebody please tell me What is the Democratic platform? Women's rights? Women's rights. Women's rights for what? Her reproductive rights. So I'm kind of confused here. Women can still delete their children. You just got to go to certain states. That thing was pushed to the states. Right in my home state of California, if you want to delete your children, you're more than welcome to come to California and we'll do it over here. But listen to how that sounds. Listen to how that sounds. If you're a Christian person, listen to what you're saying. You want the right to be able to delete your children. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Now me? No, I'm not for that. I'm not for that at all. Women's rights. Let me put it like this. Women's rights doesn't put more money in my pocket. It doesn't. So give me something else. What is the Democratic platform? What are they going to do? They did for the Asians. They did for this. They do for the Ukrainians. They do for that. What is Kamala Harris going to do specifically for the Black community as she was asked in 2020? Let's be clear. I'm not going to sit here and do anything for Black people. No, not specific. No. That vernacular, all tides rise, lift boats and stuff, that's BS. I'll give you a better example. Because what she's basically saying here is, if I've got $1 million, right? I have $1 million here. I'm of the white privilege class, Asian class, because the whites aren't even the richest group in the United States, it's the Asians. I'm Asian. I'm making $1 million. Whites make a little under $1 million. The lowest class is the Blacks, right? That's what all the statistics come. When you look at all the charts, Blacks are always at the bottom when it comes to economics, right? Okay, I'm going to give them $10,000 in everybody program, right? So you gave everybody $10,000. So here's the boat. It lifts up. Have Black people caught up to everybody else? No, we haven't. It's a trick. $10,000 does not close the wealth gap on the other groups that are ahead of Black people. So you tell me, what is going to change under Kamala Harris? What is her platform? She's already said she will unequivocally continue to help Israel do a genocide in Palestine. I believe she pledged $480 billion or something like $48 billion. I don't know. It was a lot of money in military aid. How do you stop a genocide if you're arming the aggressor? I just want to know. It doesn't make sense to me. And I'm not the smartest man in the world. I think I am, but I'm not. Okay, I know I'm not, all right? How do you stop the aggressor of a genocide if you're arming the aggressor? So what's changed in her policies? Look at all of these young people just based on that policy that want the genocide to stop in Palestine. And you expect these people to vote for the Democratic Party. Let's do the numbers, you guys. Let's do the numbers. Let's do the numbers. And by the way, I believe tomorrow or sometime coming up, there's a lady named Cherie Peoples. How many of you guys know that name? Cherie Peoples was the woman that was perp walked and arrested by Kamala Harris because her child missed so many days of school. And this was her tough on truancy policy here in California. But Kamala Harris will tell you, sheeples, that never happened. She never arrested anybody. Not true. Cherie Peoples will be on the Dimitri K show, I believe tomorrow or sometime coming up. But tune in tomorrow to see if Cherie is going to show up. Cherie is a good friend of mine on the show. We interviewed Cherie on the War Zone 3 or 4 years ago that told this exact same issue. And isn't it funny how Kamala is now this great person, and yet not one Democrat voted for her in the primaries. Not one. I said primaries. There was no primaries this year. Everything was rigged by the DNC. And as we know, the DNC is a corporation. They can pick whoever they want. How is that democracy? You guys explain that to me. How is it democracy? It's almost like RoboCop. Remember OCP? How is it and OCP's idea of democracy is how much stock you own. That's how much say-so you get. It's how much stock you own. But how is it democracy when they are picking who they are? Because what you saw in the Democratic Party was basically a coup. It was basically a coup. They unseated and got rid of a president to install the person that they want. When they saw that their lawfare against Donald Trump was not working, here's the plan. You don't put up your best person to run. You put up your worst person to run because you're not going to get the presidency. That is evident. The plan for the Democrats, in my opinion, is they're going to try to hold on to the Senate and gain some seats to pick up the House to thwart whatever Donald Trump's next agenda is. It doesn't take a rocket science to read all this stuff, people. You guys are just too busy living your lives to really pay attention. And that's just the bottom line of it. You guys are going off emotion and scared to, oh, the mass are going to do this. We got to be afraid. When you are at the bottom of the economic system, there's no reason to be afraid. Look at what happened in Cuba. In Cuba, up until Castro, 80% of Cubans look like me. 80%. And they were in abject slavery until Castro came. And what did Castro do? He distributed land. He educated them. These people still love Castro today. Why is it that the white Cubans just hate Castro? Why is that? They just hate him because he took land from them and distributed it to the people, to the majority, which to me is more democracy than what was actually happening. What you saw in the Democratic Party was an oligarchy deciding who your leader was. They told you Joe Biden is the leader. We're not having anybody run. We're not doing any of that. There was no primary. So Cherie Peoples is going to come on the show and she's going to tell us her story again, a true story about what happened to her under Kamala Harris regime. This is a single mom. By the way, you feminists, this is a single mom. You guys should be rallying behind her. She was abused, embarrassed by a attorney general, or I think she was the district attorney, by Kamala Harris's office because her daughter missed so many days of school. Where is the outrage, sisterhood? But you guys are coming at me because I'm telling you these facts. We should get behind Kamala. Based on what? This woman despises the Black community. Remember in that famous rant? I'm not going to do anything to be specific to for Black people. No. Notice she said Black people. If I was asked that same question, remember she was being interviewed by the Griot, I would have said, I'm not going to do anything specific for us. No, I'm not going to do anything because I identify as a Black person. I'm not going to do anything specific for us. She said Black people like she's not even a part of us. You guys better wake up. You guys better wake up. All my feminists out there, this woman was abused, arrested. A single mother. She's a single mom. She was arrested by this woman for political gain. Didn't care. She was a single mom. Didn't care of the circumstances of why this young girl missed so many days of school. Actually tried to prosecute her and put her in jail. And we know as Black people, when you get arrested sometimes and you don't have money to make bail, what happens after that? It's a cascading effect. You might lose your job because of your attendance, because you didn't show up for work, all this other stuff like that. And depending on what it is, your job might fire you for the simple fact that you were arrested. Fake outrage, you guys, fake outrage. And at the end of the day, do I really care? No, I don't, because I know what's going on. So let's talk about this project 2025 that everybody, 25 is 2025, oh my God, it's going to be 2025. Do you guys actually believe? Do you actually believe in the 21st century of 2024 that they're going to put us back in chains? Because that's what Joe Biden said. They're going to put you back in chains. He always references a lot of racial examples. But anyway, 2025, they're going to do this to us. They're going to do that to us. Stop. If you know that's the plan and that's what's happening, my question to you is, what are you doing to prepare? What are you doing about it? What's the Democratic Party going to do about it? Isn't that funny? If the 2025, which is a study by a think tank, there's think tanks all over the place called the Rand Corporation, called this, called that, called this, right? Okay, this thing is leaked. They see what's in it. Why aren't you asking your Democratic leaders, what are they going to do about it? Why does it fall on you? This is why I'm not afraid. You want to know why I'm not afraid? Because every good patriot questions its government. I'm a Second Amendment advocate for the simple fact that I have weapons to defend myself against my government. Democratic policy is to disarm the citizenry. When you're disarmed, what do? This is why a lot of you guys are afraid. 2025 is coming. I don't know what I'm doing. You actually believe that if they implemented something of this plan, people are just going to roll over and just accept it? You actually believe that? You actually believe Black people are so infantile in our mentality that we are just going to comply and just, yeah, man, so you know. We are not our ancestors. There would be so much kickback and so much violence in this country, it could not be contained. The military would be ineffective because you have a lot of us in the military, the National Guard, and all that other stuff. It would be, you would have basically civil war in the United States, be it in pockets, be it whatever. Oh, but the 2025 gonna come. We got to vote the Democrats. Okay, so what are the Democrats going to do? What are they going to do about it? That's my question to you guys. The Republican plan of 2025, that's what they going to do. According to you guys that messaged me, that's what's going to happen. 2025. Oh, we got to be ready for it. And if you believe that, God bless you. Okay, my question is, then what are the Democrats going to do to counter it? What are they going to do? They didn't fight to stop women's Roe versus Wade. They didn't stop that. They didn't codify it in law all those years because it's a wedge issue. As long as it's a wedge issue, they have something to run on. They keep us divisive. If it's a settled deal, nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's law. It's a privilege, something you could do. All the Republicans did and the Supreme Court did was kick it back to the states. If you want to delete your child, you've got states like California that'll willingly do it. Come on over. Just get over here. We'll take care of that just like that. So stop spreading misinformation. Please show me where I have given false information in regards to the elections that have come up and is coming up right now. Everything that I've posted on Kamala Harris is factual. But you guys are telling me I'm wrong. How am I wrong by the factual record? How do you dispute the congressional record of John Lewis? But yet people were saying I'm making the stuff up. It's the congressional record. I even put up the website. So my question to you guys is, if 2025 is such a real thing, what is the Democrats going to do about it? What they're just going to sit on their hands? Or are they complicit in it as well? Are they complicit in it as well? Who has done more damage to the Black community? The Republican Party, the modern Republican Party, or the Democratic Party? I will tell you, it's the Democratic Party. Look at Joe Biden by himself, his record. Has he repealed the 1994 crime bill? Still in place. Still in place. Billions and billions of dollars, your tax dollars, overseas to all these other nations. Black people can't even get a biscuit. But I'm wrong in what I'm doing. I have yet for anybody to dispute any of the facts that I've put up. Oh, but what about this? But what aboutism? We're talking about reality. Unplug from the matrix. I want you to see the world for what it is, not for the way it's supposed to be, the way we would like to see it. So again, 2025, you guys have been messaging me. Message me and tell me, what is the Democratic Party going to do about it? What is their plan? Please tell me. They have the Senate right now. So if you have the Senate, how are all these laws being pushed by the Republicans getting through without complicity of the Democrats? Have you guys heard of good cop, bad cop? Both want you to confess. One's going to be nice about it. Hey, man, I'll help you out the best I can if you just cooperate with us. You need to do that. And that's what they do. Then you got the bad cop who's going to kick your ass if you don't give him whatever deals, try to scare you in that aspect. But guess what? They're both trying to solicit a confession from you to get a conviction. That's this political game. If you guys haven't figured it out yet. This my team, your team, my team, your team. Everybody wants to win. But the only people that are losing are Black people. They have brought under Democratic policy illegal immigrants, giving them money, shelter, whatever they need. But they tell us as American citizens to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Recently, Gavin Newsom just implemented criminalizing homelessness in California. And they have started removing homeless encampments throughout California. And they do that by incentivizing cities to do the same. So for whatever they do, the state government is going to give them money, however it's funneled down, whatever, and they can get that money for all the resources that they use to do what they've got to do. That is the same playbook, basically, that Joe Biden's 1994 crime bill did. It's funny how the Democrats will say, well, no. That wasn't us. That was the states. Because most of your people are locked up at the state level. They're not locked up at the federal level, you guys. Come on. I say this on the show all the time. Don't listen to what I say. Fact check what I'm saying. Research what I'm saying. And if I'm a liar, come on the show and call me a liar. But I think I've done enough research and I am politically savvy enough to keep my ear to the street to know what I'm talking about. You might not agree with what I'm saying, but it is what it is. In 1994 crime bill on the federal level incentivizes the states to arrest and put so many people in prisons at a 90-something plus capacity rate. That's why you have the rise of the industrial prison complex. And most of your politicians, they all have stock in it. They all have stock in it. It incentivizes the states to incarcerate people. That's what the bill does. There's not that many people incarcerated at the federal level. You guys have got to remember, you have a federal government, you have a state government, then you have a county government, then you have a local city government. This is why they don't really emphasize civics in high school. They don't want you to know your rights. They don't want you to know what's going on. Now, you may disagree with me, but you've got to admit, I have been right most of the time. Kamala Harris has no chance of winning if you just use your basic logic. The last election was very close. It was, wait, let me look up something real quick for you guys. Just real quick. I want to look it up. Biden won the election with 306 electoral votes. Donald Trump won with 232. You need 270 to win. So Joe Biden only won in the popular vote. He won it with 81 million votes. Donald Trump was 74 million. That's 51.3% of the popular vote. Donald Trump had 46.9. Now you tell me, now that's with 96% of the black vote that he won. You mean, so you're telling me Kamala Harris, a very unpopular person who could not even win her own state of California in the Democratic primary in 2020, is going to win this election? How? Please explain to me how. That's reality. I don't want to be too long. I'm about to get off of here. But I'm going to say this. The only way the Democrats can win this election, and they need to do it in a hurry. We are 100 days out, and we haven't even thought and talked about absentee ballot voting and early voting. We haven't even talked about that. So we're actually less than 100 days. The Democrats have to do something fast. And Joe Biden, if he wants to have Kamala win, he needs to do it by executive order now. And that is to start cutting those checks to FBA Black people quickly, specific to Black people. He has to do something specific for Black people, or they're not going to win. $1 million, $50,000. I give everybody $10,000. If Black people are not at the bottom of the economic scale in this society, why is it that economists and accountants have all said it's going to take 225 years for Black people to catch up to the wealth of white people? But we running around here thinking that, the talented nine, they represent all Black people. Well, he gave money to the HBCUs. Do you know in the Black community how many people actually, percentage-wise of the Black community, actually go to HBCUs? It is very little. Very little. The majority of Black people do not go to HBCUs. Number one, they can't afford it. If the Democrats want to win, Joe Biden has to start cutting those checks and doing something specific to Black people to get those votes back and get some of those butts off of the couch that are going to vote on the couch. The last 3 years, people are seeing what the Democrats are doing, and it adversely affects Black people. That's just a fact. If every Black person voted for the Democrats right now, Kamala Harris still could not win. Because we know that's not going to happen. But even if they did, she can't win. The country is too far gone in inflation and in its priorities of what is happening. and people's eyes are open. The Democrats did not plan for this. So they're using Kamala Harris, and you guys should be outraged. They're using Kamala Harris, who is not a black woman, as a crash test dummy to run for president in a situation that they know she cannot win. There's no way you're going to win a second term. If they wanted to, they knew, even Kamala knew. That's another thing. Where's your outrage about that? She knew that this man was in cognitive decline, but looked right into the camera and said, I was right there with him in the situation room. I was right there. He's very this, he's very that, he's very this. She lied right to your face. This woman has a record of opportunism. That's all she does. If she was really qualified to be president and have the qualifications, I would say so, but she doesn't. If the Democratic Party is going to use prosecutor versus felon as their theme to run this race, you're going to lose. That is the stupidest strategy to use. Why? Because in the Black community, we know the frivolous deals and things that go on with these prosecutors. Oh, but Donald Trump, the Central Park Five, he did that article and all this other stuff against the Central Park Five. That's why I'm not voting for Trump, because, you know, he number one, he wasn't a politician. Number two, it was horrible that he did that. I agree. But why aren't you calling the Democratic prosecutor who brought the false charges against the 5 Black children? Why aren't you calling them the task? But you're calling a private citizen who's a millionaire who could say what he wants in a country that's supposed to be free. You're holding him accountable, but you're not holding the Democratic machine accountable that prosecuted and sentenced those young men to prison. Stop it. Stop it. Anyway, you guys, continue sending me the messages. I'm listening. I'm reading them. I'm laughing. Vote how you feel you should vote. Whatever is your interests, I'm all for that. That's what this country's supposed to be about. You have a right to vote, not vote, sit on the couch, go on vacation, do whatever you like to do. You know, vote for the rent's too high party. I don't know. Do whatever you want. Vote for Kamala Harris if you want. But if you vote for Kamala Harris, nothing's going to change for you. The definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result. You're voting for the same person with a different face. What about the problem with Kamala also is she's tied to the Biden administration. So if you are for genocide, and if you are for illegal aliens, and you are for open borders, and you are for all of this stupid stuff that is going on in our country, Biden-Harris administration. Now all of a sudden, this woman has been selected, which she's been selected all of her career. And I'm not even going to bring up how she got started, because a lot of you guys already know that, and it's irrelevant. I will say this for her. If you're going to use that thing to get what you want, she used it to get to the vice presidency so far, and I ain't mad at her. She using that thing, okay? A lot of y'all, come on now, let's be real. If you're going to use that thing, get to your destination, okay? You know, and a lot of people get mad when I say that, and I mean it in jest, but if you think about it, it does make sense. If you're going to be selling that thing, make sure you get something for it, right? It's a transactional thing, and she got something for it. That started her political career, but it doesn't matter. That's her thing. She can do what she wants with it. You got a lot of simps out there, Willie Brown, that will appoint her here and do all that, give her a BMW. You guys read the story on it. Read the story. I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad. Like I said, a lot of you guys that lived overseas with me, you know, in a lot of those countries, prostitution is legal. It is something that is regulated and controlled. It's no big deal. Only in America, where you have a $16 billion porn industry, And it is legal to videotape and stream adults in personal encounters. That's totally legal on camera. But 2 adults in a transaction behind closed doors is a crime. It's totally crazy. Totally crazy. It's a crime, and Donald Trump, what he did he didn't get convicted because he had an affair. He got convicted because he used campaign funds to do it. It's bizarro world. But anyway, you guys, again, for the 4th or 5th time in my lifetime election cycle as an adult, this is the most pivotal election of your life. Democracy is on the line once again. And they're asking Black people to come and save democracy. We won't give you nothing, but we're going to save it for you. We want you guys to come and save, and don't ask no questions. Don't expect nothing. If you guys are cool with that, I'm cool with it. But again, if Project 2025 is such a scary thing, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to defend yourself? Do you have weapons to defend yourself? Are you holding your Democratic representatives, servants, accountable to what they're going to do about it? That's the question you need to be asking yourself. Oh no, we just got to be fair. The masks are going to save us. We got to get some more masks in there. We got to get Master Biden up there and Kamala. They're going to do something for us. Kamala has no record of doing anything for Black people. Nothing. Zero. Except locking us up like she's popping Tic Tacs. Ask anybody here from California. If you go on these blogs and stuff and somebody's saying something negative toward Kamala, I would almost guarantee 7 out of 10 times that person lived in California. Tomorrow, Demetra K Show, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully, Cherie Peoples, the single mom that was arrested and tried. Was she tried? I think she was tried. And tried by Kamala Harris, DA Kamala Harris, will be on the Demetra K Show. I think it's tomorrow. Don't quote me, but check in anyway. Hit the like and subscribe button. And she's going to tell you her story. I didn't make the story up. This is a true story. And if you want to look up, go on my YouTube page. And I believe I still have her video up. We interviewed her on the War Zone with the late, great Gary Monroe. And she told her story exactly out of her own mouth. But Kamala will tell you it never happened. Nobody was arrested. That was not true. If you go to YouTube, there are videos all over the nation where single mom, I'm a single mom, are getting arrested because of their children not attending school and doing all types of stuff. Okay? So tune in tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. Demetra should be back, and we'll see what happens. But keep the messages coming from me. But at the end of the day, you guys, we're supposed to be adults enough to agree to disagree. I don't expect anybody on this platform to agree with anything that I'm saying. You don't have to agree with it. But I am going to tell you to research what I'm saying. And I'm almost damn sure what I'm telling you is based on fact. That's why I'm telling you, go look it up. And you notice the people that don't want to look it up are the people that want to stay in the matrix. They don't want to deal with the thought of their savior. Their savior is infallible. They might have made a mistake. Women's rights. I have the right to kill my children if I want to. That isn't what women's rights are about. Stop it. Woman has a right to put a BBL in her butt. A woman has a right to get nice hooters, do some plastic surgery, pump up her lips, whatever she's going to do. That's what a woman's rights are. That baby has a father. That father should have rights. What about father's rights? Let's talk about that. Father's rights. women's rights. I'm all for women at the end of the day doing what they need to do for themselves. But as a Christian, no, I'm never going to co-sign on a woman deleting her child because she made a bad decision. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But we've got some really harebrained people out here, I guess. Some mad dog people out here. If you got that kind of mindset, in my opinion, you need to head over to the Palestine and go deal with the Israelis and, go join them and continue the genocide over there. If you're so bloodthirsty, not going to do it. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to stand up for unborn children. I'm going to stand up for them. My religion says I must. You're out here having unprotected sex or something, happens or whatever. If your life is not on the line in regards to that pregnancy, I don't believe you have the right to just delete a child, an unborn child. But then again, you guys know that I'm a really big animal lover. So of course I'm very sensitive when it comes to that. I don't believe animals in an animal shelter should be deleted just because they're alive and they're a burden. All this money we have in this country, and we're worried about animals because they're taking up space. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I am very pro-life. I am very pro-life. I know a lot of people say, well, if you're pro-life, what were you doing in the military? Exactly. Think about what you just said. I'm very pro-life. What was I doing in the military? Think about it. All right, you guys, I am Donovan Saadiq. I am known as the recovering Democrat. I really hope things change. But vote your conscience. Vote what you think is best for you and your family. Do not vote identity politics. That is stupid for you to vote for somebody just because their genitalia is different, their color, or whatever the deal is. Oh, I'm going to vote because I'm a Laker fan. Totally ridiculous. We did that because people were voting for Arnold Schwarzenegger because they loved his movies. He left the governorship worse than when he found it. We got to stop identity politics. Again, tomorrow, 3 p.m., Cherie Peoples. She's going to be on the Demetra K Show. Tune in. Check us out. We'll see you guys then. All right.